to be attacked or battered or kettled for hours and hours in the cold. And I think lots of us here tonight are sick of the sight of that violence and that attitude from the police on those demonstrations. So I'm going to start by asking Lewis, who's a school student who's been active, to say a few words, and then I'll ask a few more people just to say some words.
Hello? Yeah. Hi, I'm from Gravely School in Tooting, and we've consistently got people down for each demo. First demo we got 100 people down, and we got more people down on the other two. And every time, people have been shocked by the violence of the police. We've been kettled for hours. The last two times we've been kept there till 10 o'clock in the freezing cold. And the last demo it was shocking violence, with their truncheons. They're talking about bringing in water cannons. But I think a key thing to notice is that it's not really dampening spirits, because people are still more passionate to get on these demonstrations against the cuts. And a lot of my friends and people and students at my school, it's made them more and more passionate to fight against the cuts. The violence of the police has made them want to continue fighting against these cuts, which is going to stop a lot of them going to university. And so I think with these sort of things are important, because this police violence is totally unfair, unnecessary, and it is dropping democracy. And yeah.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Thanks, Lewis. I do have another young person, but he's hiding over there, Curtis, so you want to say a few words. So while he's coming over, while he's coming over, I will say that we've got people, it's a small gathering tonight, but we've got some important people here. We've got some of the students who are currently occupying Camberwell Arts College. I know we've got students here from Goldsmiths, and from London South Bank University. So we also say well done and solidarity to all of those brave students who are still in occupation, and well done to them. So I'm just going to ask Curtis, who's another school student, to say a few words. Lewis, has he gone up with the other megaphone?
No, it's over there on the table.
It's over on the table, please. I understand.
Hey, I'm Curtis.
Sorry, keep talking. Sorry.
I am in year 11, so at the moment it's my age group that's going to be directly affected by the cuts in uni rising in fees. So yeah, I was just down on the last one with the people. It wasn't a great amount of people, but we managed to get about 6 people afterwards. And we just arrived there and we were kettled in until midnight. So I think that is quite ridiculous that what they're doing, and also the fact that they decided they want to charge horses at us while we're kettled in, so we can't actually go anywhere.
Thank you to Curtis, and I also say well done to all the brave students who have walked out of school, and sadly lots of students have been kettled in school and locked in and not allowed to go on the demonstrations who wanted to. Okay, next speaker, I'm going to ask a speaker from Unison, who brought their magnificent banner here, because I think that if the trade unions were on the streets alongside the students, then they would not dare to batter them or charge them with horses. So the unions, I think, have got an important part to play in this battle. So here's Dan.
Hi everyone, I'm Dan, I'm one of the assistant branch secretaries from Lambeth Unison. We've been on most of the demonstrations that the students have had, and it's had a really inspiring effect on our branch meetings and in terms of our members. The anti-cuts movement is now taken on a whole new lease of life because of the dynamism of what the students have done. And I just want to say I'm absolutely sick to the teeth of people talking about the violence of protesters. I've been on the demonstrations, I've seen people as young as 13, 14, 15 being smashed on the head with truncheons by police. I've seen police horses trample people, one guy being pulled out of a wheelchair. And people have the right in those circumstances to defend themselves. And I just think, well, the people defending themselves against the police, fair play to that. But more than that, if we want to talk about violence, what this government is doing in terms of the massive attacks on welfare benefits and the public sector, that will result in tens of thousands of deaths every year through people not being able to afford their heating bills, people not being able to get hospital beds, and people being driven into poverty. And that's real violence, which is never talked about by the media, which is nothing compared to like a few windows and everything like that, which Bob Crowes, the RMT General Secretary, has said, you know, we can't just march up and down from A to B. We do need strikes and we do need civil disobedience. So well done to all the students who've done what they have done. You know, you should be proud of those demonstrations and it has having a good effect on the workers' movement.
Okay, thanks. I'm going to ask Jasper, who is one of the students in occupation at Camberwell Art College, to speak. And unfortunately, he hasn't been on many of the demonstrations because he's had to keep the occupation going on his own. So he's glad to be allowed out this evening. Let's hear from Jasper.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. That's better. That's the key thing we're doing at Camberwell, is just raising awareness and getting people aware of what's going on, getting them active and responding with what we're trying to do. We can't thank you guys enough for the amount of support you've shown. Been here been occupying since Monday, and it's bizarre. I mean, a lot of people just are really inspired by what we've done. It doesn't really feel like we're doing enough, but that thought of ours is driving us to do more and more and more. And hopefully the more we do, the more it will influence other people to get involved as well. So also, if anyone's free on Christmas Day or around that time, I don't know, the occupiers might be low in numbers, so please pop by and have a little Christmas experience with us all. In terms of the protests and things like that, I think we're part of a really big and powerful moment in history. Something like this hasn't happened in a very long time, and I think it's pretty much the last straw in terms of the government ignoring what we were doing. And I think it feels really good to be here. And yeah, like I said, I haven't had a strong interest in politics, but what's going on now has definitely made me aware, and hopefully together we can definitely make more and more and more people aware. So yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. And Jasper's given me a leaflet, which is a very beautiful and unusual artistically designed leaflet. So we're glad to have you art students giving us ideas. Thank you. I'm going to ask Marcia Rigg to speak next, who is a local resident and has been waging a campaign about police violence, and I'll let her explain her campaign.
Hi, good evening everybody, and thanks for coming out tonight. I know it's a cold evening, but it's appreciated. Small numbers still say a lot. My name's Marcia Rigg, and I'm here with my brother Wayne Rigg. And some of you may know or heard of the case of Sean Rigg, who died at this police station on the 21st of August 2008. Hello, Brixton Police Station, I'm back again, and I'm not going. We set up a campaign when Sean died, and the campaign is to stop deaths in police custody. And Kettled is something that we're also opposing to. We've joined the United Campaign Against Police Violence, and unfortunately, after the death of my brother, me and my family realised the depth of the seriousness of police brutality, and more importantly, deaths in custody. And we're not going to have it anymore. And we're going to try. We've been fighting legally for the last 2 years, and we're gathering evidence and we're waiting for the inquest, which they've told us will be 2012. So basically, we've got to wait 4 years before we find out how our brother died, and that's distressing for families. If you lose your lost one in the hands of the police, lose your loved one in the hands of the police, then this governmental system has long drawn out investigations to wear the families down. We have means-tested funding. Families get no funding whatsoever from this governmental system, for inquest. So that no one has to have any legal representation. However, the police have full representation, free. They have counselling, free for their well-being, and the families literally get zero. So we want to be campaign against that as well. Families should also get funding for inquests when their family dies in suspicious circumstances by the hands of the police. Why should they get all the rights, justice, when the families don't? It's not on. You're no different from any of us. We're really sorry to hear about Alfie Meadows that was struck in the head by a baton and had to have a 3.5-hour operation on his brain where he was bleeding from his brain. There have been other people in the past that have died at the hands of a truncheon in their head. Brian Douglas died about 15 years ago when a police officer put a baton over his head 10 times the body weight of him. So the force of it on his head killed him. He had a caved-in skull. Okay? Police are not supposed to use batons in people's heads because it causes death. Blair Peach was hit in the head by a truncheon at a protest 30 years ago. Right? Nothing was done. There's no accountability by a police officer. Brian Douglas, no accountability by any police officer. Ricky Bishop died in this police station, no accountability. Christopher Alder, Wayne Douglas, Mikey Powell. The list goes on and on and on. And it's not just black people, it's white people as well. This is not a racist issue. This is a class issue. And it affects every one of us on the street. Not just black people, but unfortunately, we get the brunt of it. And I'm not ashamed to say that. I've got no apology to give to this governmental system or the Metropolitan Police. Okay? We're here for justice. And, you know, I stood up, when my brother died, me and my family stood outside this police station for 1 whole year, every Saturday. For 1 whole year, peacefully protesting. To tell them that we're not going away. This tree has been here that we as a family put here, and it is in memory of all people that have died by the hands of the police, including my brother. You know, we had problems in the beginning where the flowers were being taken up and, you know, it was being desecrated. And we just kept coming back and back and back. And now, you know, it's been left alone. So, in memory of my brother and all people that have died in custody, I like this governmental system and the Metropolitan Police, and in particular, Brixton Police Station, that we are here and we're not going away. And all we need is numbers. And now, this climate of what's happening with the unrest, with tuition fees and all the protests, we've got the numbers now. And I want everybody to also come and support deaths in custody, because anybody could have died on those protests. Anybody's children, sons, brothers, uncles, anyone can die, and Alfie Meadows almost did die. They pulled somebody out of a wheelchair. It's an absolute disgrace. CCTV always goes missing with police. It always goes missing. But we're telling you something. We're making our own CCTV, and if we didn't record that, nobody would have known about the gentleman that was pulled out of his wheelchair. So we have to bring the CCTV ourselves. Get your cameras out, your mobile phones, record every single thing that you see on the ground, put it on YouTube, forget about the BBC, forget about Sky. The news is you, and it's called YouTube.
Thank you very much to Marcia and to all the people that have spoken. We have booked a community centre which is over the road, the Caribou, where we will be showing some films and we can get in the warmth and have a discussion about what we do next. So I'd like to say thanks to everybody for being here, and thanks to everyone for fighting and struggling, and let's keep the fight up and let's challenge the violence and the kettling that has been used against our young people, but it won't put them off because we're going to be on the streets again. But next time we need to be in our hundreds of thousands, and if we are, then they won't be able to touch us. Thanks very much, everybody.